Hello, welcome back. I'm Darren, and we are starting our run on the RTX 4080 with the 13700K. We are on Tarkov, and I've already noticed some strange behaviour, so I'm going to have to investigate this one. I'm probably going to go back to this after I've finished, because one thing I've noticed is, as you can see, we are now going over the 144 FPS cap, and we have really strange kind of GPU CPU utilization going on, so I'm not really sure. I don't run this game at 1440p, so I've never really noticed how bad the CPU bottleneck is at 1440p. Now, I did look back at the AMD video before, and that does bottleneck a bit, but nowhere near as bad as what this system is. That's not uncommon. Nvidia do tend to have a higher CPU overhead, so it is what it is. So this is kind of a bit random. At times it seems to dip below what the AMD was when it hits bad utilization, but then see the AMD would only go to 144 no matter what. Now, I might have come to figure out what that is. I'll quick go through the settings. So we are at obviously texture quality high, we're at ultra on the shadows, highest LOD, highest overall visibility, we are on TAA high, resampling is 1x off, we're not using any upscaling at the moment, we have our screen space reflections at medium, coloured ultra, and anisotropic filtering on. Now, this game here, see, I never even took notice of this, so there's a cap on your lobby limit, which is a good thing. I wish more games did that. And there's a game limit, which is 144. Now, on the AMD side, we don't obviously have, I don't think this even exists, or maybe it's just greyed out. I didn't take much notice. So it would appear that with the reflex on, we lose the 144 cap, because obviously even on the AMD, no matter what, the game has this obviously this FPS limit, which goes as high as 144. It doesn't go any higher than that. But it would appear that using reflex low latency, it would appear that it turns off the 144 cap, which is interesting. So I can only assume there is a way on the AMD to also remove the cap, but I'm not sure how. But anyway, regardless, I'd actually say I think that the AMD runs probably a slightly higher FPS overall. Maybe about, God, are you friendly? I'm probably thinking it runs maybe about 10. It's very hard to say. It's such a hard game to be able to benchmark. I mean, they both run good. We can definitely go with that. Obviously, this isn't a complete game. It is a beta game, and for that reason, it does have its strange quirks. So when you get when you get an airdrop come in, you get a big kind of performance hit. Now, for a long time, I think it's been kind of common knowledge that players use the FPS counter as a indication when a PMC is around, because apparently your frames will tank randomly when a PMC is around. So there are kind of quirks. The other thing is the enemies on the game, and even the friendlies, so the scavs that are running around here at the moment, wherever they may be. This is for obviously people that don't know the game, so these are obviously friendly to me at the moment. Now, they don't load into the game at the start of the game. They can load in at any location and at any point. So when they load into the game, sometimes you'll see a big kind of performance hit. You might see like a big stutter, or you might just see your performance tank. So it would almost be an impossible game to benchmark. But you could probably say both systems generally are, throughout the game, you're generally over 100, or at least 100. So at least 100, and then up to, obviously on the AMD system, it was stopping at the frame rate cap, and on this system we're watching it kind of go over that at certain points, like it is right now. So I find at 4K on either system, it's obviously a lot better balanced, and the reason for that is it's no longer CPU bottlenecked, so you have full 100% utilization of the GPU at 4K on either system. I did kind of have a look to see if I could find out any more information, because I noticed how bad the bottleneck is on this system, which is slightly worse than the bottleneck on the AMD system. So I did have a quick search today to see if I could find any benchmarks on the game for the 7800X3D to see if that was a bit of an outlier. And the only benchmark that I could find that was a CPU benchmark was on I think it was a 14900K versus 7800X3D, and the video was quite long, and the guy basically said at the end of the video that he realises that he screwed up because he only ran one run on each of the maps on each system, and he said after that he realised that how much a various run would differ from one run to the next run. So basically he said the results seemed quite strange, because one time the Intel CPU was well ahead, and the next time the AMD CPU was well ahead, which he said made no sense. He put it down to the maps, but then he realised after retesting that it was really random. So basically one test the Intel would come ahead by quite a substantial amount, and then on a separate run, whether it be the next run or on the third run, the AMD would be ahead by maybe a substantial amount. So bit of an awkward game to test, too much going on, and like I said, it's not helped either by the fact that it's not particularly easy unless you want to sit around all day trying to get into a map at the same time of day with the same weather, and knowing what enemies are going to be at what point on the map if they've spawned in, if they haven't spawned in, to know kind of if you're taking a performance hit from a random enemy that might be in the area. So, I mean, as you can see, both systems, I think the AMD might be slightly ahead, but I could do another run on it and maybe it'd be completely different. But they both seem very kind of within a similar ballpark, I'd say. Good performance on both. We'll take a run to the end of the map and we'll maybe try and find an area where we can go through maybe DLSS. I mean, to be fair, I use DLSS a lot at 4K because at 4K I actually find it a game changer. If I have this much performance at native, it would generally be down to if the game really did have bad AI. With the bottleneck that we are getting, that we're not necessarily getting right this second, but I'm no doubt when we leave the building we probably will again. Because of that, I don't think we're going to gain any performance in using DLSS. So it would have to be, if it gave a visual advantage, we'll check that out. But yeah, obviously good performance on both systems. I'm happy to run it on either of the systems. I tend to run... there's no point me going through it now. We'll wait till we've finished all the benchmarks. We'll finish the 1440p benchmarks and then we'll go through the 4K. So we're going to go through the same games at 4K. And once we go through those, we will, you know, I'll kind of give my summary on where I'm kind of at with how I feel about the two systems and which one I tend to use in which game, because it does differ from game to game. It probably differs as well. Obviously, in this scenario, you know, I'd maybe tend to prefer one over the other at 1440p, and that might change around in a scenario where it was at 4K. So it is what it is. But I've seen this video is already going on quite long, so just turn that torch off. Probably a bit tricky actually in this weather to kind of go through DLSS. See if I can find anything that looks really bad with its AA. See if it looks any better or worse with DLSS. I mean, we are at 1440p, so it's not the best time to use upscaling. It's not the worst. I definitely wouldn't want to really use upscaling at 1080p, but at 1440p maybe not that bad. This is probably not the best weather to really check anything out, which is a little bit unfortunate, but it is what it is. I mean, we'll crank it on to have a quick look, but like I said, I don't think we're going to get any performance advantage from DLSS at all. That's not what we want. This is what we want. I also have absolutely no idea. It lists obviously the FSR options, what DLSS is in this game. I don't know. I'd have to look into probably the game files. See if I could find that. So, well, obviously, yeah, okay, we did get a performance hit advantage. Well, GPU utilization is at 75%, so and then our frame rate tanked pointing that way, which is interesting. And our GPU utilization went down to 49%, which is really interesting. So we're below 50% GPU utilization when pointing that way. When pointing this way, we go up to 70% and over 200 frames. Wow. Okay. Yeah, I'd probably say this game would be impossible to benchmark. Well, I'd say DLSS actually looks... I don't know if it's better than... Let's have a look, see what these train tracks were doing some nasty stuff. God. I don't like the way that he was looking at me. So... not brilliant, not bad. Those look... That one looks pretty stable. Let's have a look. So, zoom. Yeah, okay. So it fixes that. I'm not going to say it fixes it, but it certainly betters it. This rain really is not helping. Those don't actually look that bad. So I think it does better job of whatever is going on there. I would say it softens the image maybe a little bit, but then we have got sharpness, so we could fix that if that was the case. Yeah, so it does improve it a bit. It doesn't get rid of it entirely. I mean, you're looking at going to 4K. At 4K, that should be completely gone. But I mean, it looks pretty good. I don't know what's obviously going on with the below 50% GPU utilization facing that direction. And then nearly 200 FPS facing that direction. Very strange. But anyway, I will leave it there because we've run on for way too long. And we will move on to the next one. Hello, welcome back. I'm Darren, and we are now in Grayzone Warfare. We are on the... we are rubber banding because... I don't know, I think this should be renamed as... rubber banding warfare. I don't know. I don't know if they're ever going to fix this. They clearly don't want to pay for servers, so I clearly ain't going to pay for an upgrade of the game. But anyway, we are at 1440p. We are on the RTX 4080 with the 13700K, and there's a load of dead bodies here, so hopefully that's an indication that nothing bad is about to happen. There's an enemy over there. God, this server's running like absolute junk. Okay. That guy's going for it. Oh, hold on. Is that enemies there? Yes, it is. Come on, guy. Get your breath back. Compose yourself. Oh, yeah. Okay. Just go for an entire magazine. I will attempt to get on with it in a second. Thank you. Now that my guy's got a bit of strength in his little weaky arms. I hope he's not going to war anytime soon. Anyway. So. Yes, we are, unfortunately, the servers seem a little bit crazy tonight. So rubber banding is a big issue, and they're not running particularly nice either. Oh my word. So, let's quick go through the settings before an enemy spawns near me. We are at 4040p. We are at epic settings on everything. Motion blur's off. We are 100% resolution scale. So, oh god. This game. Why would it spawn an enemy like that? That's a crazy thing to do. And now I'm stuck in the water. Can you swim in this game? I'm stuck in the water and I can't get out of the water. With a horrendous bleed. That is shocking. Can I get out of this? This isn't a very handy way to run a benchmark, is it? I can't even see this guy. He can see me though. There he is. Right. That wasn't great. Let me see if I can take some meds. If I bought meds, yes. So that I haven't got this stupid blur effect going on. Is that going to give me a blur effect? Oh, now I've got a brain dead blur effect. Hold on. The absolute worst case scenario. Let's see if this fixes it. If it does, then we'll carry on. If not, I'll have to quit this and restart. Come on, get rid of the brain effect. Oh, god damn it. I'm going to have this blur effect that is not going to be any good to this. Which is an absolute nightmare. Can't believe that an enemy is spawned there when there's so many people around. Let's just see if it'll go, or how far off going it is. I'm not actually sure. Oh, hold on, let's have a look. What's wrong with my weak little man? See if I can heal him up anymore. I don't think I've got anything that'll... Who's that? Oh, okay, that worked. Right. Hopefully you guys got my back covered while I do this. So, that was interesting. Right. As I was saying, we are at 100% resolution scale. We are using TSR at Epic, so this is about as close as what I can say we can get to a native. So we will go to DLSS. We will turn off frame gen. We will go to, I think there's DLA. Yeah. We will try that. That seems too much performance. What's going on there? What has happened? Did that leave frame gen on? Yes, I think it did. Okay, so DLA A on DLSS, which is effectively their kind of version of native. Well, that's a far, far cleaner picture. I'm sold. That looks really nice. Yeah. So we are at around about 70 frames. I'm not going to say that it's running. It's not running. There's a lot going on this map that unfortunately we're just going to have to get past. So those power lines are really good. This is actually pretty impressive for 1440p, I'm not going to lie. So now, because we are on this, we could run, because we have enough performance for frame generation. So we can try that. And that is superb. So that's taken us to, what's that, over 100? Is that a friendly? I think it is. He's running naked to get his gear back. Interesting. Oh, my little man's got a problem again. Hold on. Give him that and a little bit of a drink. He might be alright after that. He's a bit weak. Okay. So, luckily it doesn't give a painkiller effect like Tarkov does. So, yeah, this is good. The only thing you get is some kind of... I think I see that with everything though. You get this kind of ghosting of the tree. But the water back there is nothing like it was in the... when you zoom in, you do get a little bit of a sparkle. And there's a horrendously rendered helicopter. Don't worry, that's nothing about the... that's down to shocking server. Oh god, there's an enemy there, look. So... I'd have to adjust my mouse to play this game. Yes, happy with that. Really happy with that. That looks very good. What we can do is we can try DLSS quality, because we are on DLA. So let's try that. Did that? Yeah, by the looks of my frame rate, that did. It's not as good as DLA. But I tell you what, it's not bad. Power lines are fine, even with movement. It's definitely softened the image a bit. There's no aliasing there. There's no flickering. So, as far as performance-wise, that's pretty good. We'll quick try it with no frame gen, just to see if frame gen made any difference, and then we'll call it a day, because this video went on for too long whilst I was fixing my... Oh, so you can sharpen it a little bit. Let's try that, see what happens. I don't think that actually made any difference, did it? That guy right back there. It's friendly, isn't it? Yeah. Okay. Right, let's just... I'm not sure why I keep going back here. It's not the safest place to be, really, but... let's take it from... Let's go back to frame gen off. Take that back down. So DLSS at quality, we've taken frame gen off. I don't think it looks any different than I don't see frame gen changing the image quality at all. I think the absolute best that I've seen so far of any of the options available is DLAO with frame gen. If you're wanting the best mix of visuals and performance, I'd say it looks better than native. Performance is far better than native. So let's go back to that. I don't think... Oh, God. Oh, let's just check. So native AA with... Yeah, see, that's horrendous. Absolutely not good. It's probably going to crash in a minute with me doing all these changes. Frame generation off. DLAA. And then put frame generation on. DLAA. Apply. Yes. Yeah, that's 120 FPS. And an extremely nice image. My little man's got his little headache back again, so this is definitely the best option in Grayzone Warfare at the moment, for sure. I do actually need to do a task down here, but I don't know when or if that's ever going to happen. It's just that ghosting of... Well, I don't know what it is. I think it does that with everything, though. I don't think that's... I'm going to get shot doing this, aren't I? I've turned frame gen off. So yeah, it's not a frame gen thing. If I turn to TSR, you have to put the resolution scale up when you do that for some reason. That's even worse. I don't know if it come through, but it's this kind of... It's almost like a light reflection that kind of hangs off the side of the trees. Looks a bit strange. Unless it's intentional. No, I don't think so. But I'm going to end it at that. We'll put it back to what I think is the best option. Hopefully I don't get shot in the side of the head. So DLSS with frame generation on with DLAO. Yeah, unfortunately, nothing seems to get rid of that. But as far as this goes, those power lines look really good. There's absolutely no flickering whatsoever, which I'm quite impressed with at 1440p, because to get completely rid of bad AA at 1440p is not easy. So yeah, I'm impressed. I'm going to leave it there. So I will catch you in the next one.